Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to the Business Hangout. I'm Colin Carpenter, I'm your host. And this week I'm joined at the moment by Randy Resnick, and I'm hoping one or two people will come in and talk to us as well. The topic this week, as we've done before, which I think has worked really well, is open forum. So come in, talk about whatever you like. We present it as an opportunity to talk about your business and share what you do and start sort of online networking session. But if you'd rather come in and talk about technology or sport or whatever, then we're happy to sit here and do that. We were talking before we started off the hangout about our latest purchases. I know you've had one for a little longer than me, but we're obviously talking about the Nexus 7 here, which mine turned up just after last week's business hangout, and I've been playing with it for a week or so, and I've got to say I'm very happy with it. So for those who are not familiar with the format, it's a 7-inch tablet, so it fills the gap between the larger phones these days, which tend to be about 4.5 inches or so, and the full size tablets, which are
Oops,
10
I can't see.
inches, so thereabouts. And they've been very successful as a form factor. The Nexus 7 and the Kindle Fire are pretty similar, and they seem to have filled a gap in the market. So once people got used to tablets as a device and could see the value in them, which a market which was no doubt opened up by the iPad, they seem to have accepted that having something that you can actually more easily put in your pocket and carry around, if you've got big pockets, can be quite useful. So, but how have you been finding it as somebody who has probably uses iOS predominantly for most of your devices?
As we've been, as we were talking before, I was trying to show this chameleon thing, but I don't see my video correctly, so I don't know how well. Let me see if I can change that. Yeah, as I was telling you, I thought if I could see there we go. Well, I can see this isn't going to. I can see this is not going to be easy. Let me just.
Yes.
There's a long story short, that's not going to work. But there's a widget thing called Chameleon. It's an alternate desktop manager, I guess, or launcher. Yeah. And I was trying to play with that. So far, I don't think it's got enough things of interest, but I did purchase it, and I'll be looking forward to using it. As far as iOS, I was saying, I think that in some ways. Sorry, I've got this cold and I need to cough occasionally. Okay. In some ways, I don't find Android to be the best ergonomics. There's a couple of things that just don't seem right to me, and it's hard for me to put my finger on it. I don't believe it's because I'm used to iOS. I mean, I am, but I'm not. I don't have trouble getting used to new things. I just think that they missed the boat in a couple of places, and I think seriously, truly, that the next iteration, unless somebody messes something up horribly, will probably be really excellent. But the one we have now, which is Jelly Bean, very impressive. I love it. And this is my first experience with Android other than emulators. So it's a great device. As far as the hardware, you can't beat it, I think, for the price. Coleman, there's a long thread, by the way, about Apple doing a 7-inch tablet, and do we care this morning, and I don't, and I think that there's a lot of talk about what the use is of a 7-inch tablet.
Russ, hi.
Hey guys. You hear me better now?
Now a lot better. There was a lot of noise there when you were in your car.
Well, cars will do that. and now my PC's not working, so we're on a tablet instead.
Yeah, which tablet have you got? Is that a Nexus?
It is a Nexus 7.
Yeah, we're just talking about ours.
I think
Nexus fan club here.
mine seems to have a memory leak.
Yeah, dear.
It's getting worse by the day. I've been having to remove a lot of programs and delete caches. I've got the big 16 gig, but it doesn't seem to be too keen on memory.
What are you mostly doing with the tablet, Russ?
I use it for a lot of things. I run I'm kind of running a small business out of it, but mainly email and media, watching movies or watching TV and lots of email sitting on the couch, those types of things.
Just wondering what app might be contributing to a memory leak. There's all kinds of diagnostic software out there, actually, isn't there? I think you can get an app that'll tell you where the memory's going. I haven't had that problem. Have you? Coleman, did you get a 16 or an 8?
I've got a 16. Again, I wouldn't say I'm using it in any power sense, but no, I haven't had any issues. It's been pretty stable. I think it reset itself once on me. That was it in a week or so.
I think it might be a storage memory type of issue. I've gotten it up to, I don't know, 13 gigs, and it starts to, the butter seems to be not so buttery anymore. It's more like curdled milk. The first device I had, I actually put it back. I was having a screen issue with it flickering a lot. And I was loading it up with music, and as soon as I got to that about 13, 14 gig limit, it just really started not performing well. And I ended up just resetting the device completely, getting the music off, and trying to keep memory low. Kind of running into the same thing now.
Okay, that's interesting. Maybe other people have had the same issue when they get to that level of storage. I don't know. So anyway, Russ, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and your business and what you do?
Sure. Yeah, I'm a marketing guy by trade, and I am employed by a telecom and cloud computing provider in the United States, called Broadview Networks, and we operate basically our own network and provide cloud-based computing services and other services like cloud-based phone systems, internet services, anything that a company needs to communicate, with their customers, we provide. So that's what I'm doing these days, and the cloud certainly seems to be taking off.
So are you finding it in a marketplace that's dominated by big players like Google and Microsoft and whatever? Do you have a particular niche that you focus on, or do you put yourselves up against them?
Yeah, we those players focus primarily on consumer marketing. Obviously, Microsoft doesn't, but our play is we're strictly business. So we're out there, with a more consultative approach to businesses, helping small business, medium-sized businesses really, leverage tools from Google, Microsoft, others to improve their performance. Our niche product is a cloud-based phone system, and what that means is basically, all the equipment that you use to make phone calls is in the sky. You don't have to buy a PBX or anything like that, and we're one of the few providers that actually does all that kind of turnkey for you. We supply you with everything you need, including the phones. You don't have to buy any hardware, and that's really our niche. Is you can lower your costs, improve performance without spending a dime out of pocket.
I think you and Randy would probably need to have a conversation at some point, and because I don't know if you're aware that Randy runs a regular Friday evening hangout called VUC, VoIP User Conference. So it sounds like the sort of place that you should pop along to and sell your wares, or promote your wares, I should say.
I follow him on Google Plus.
Sorry?
I said I think I follow him on Google Plus.
You do? Good, excellent.
A lot of great content.
So how how is your organization using Google Plus then in order to promote? Are you doing something different to anybody else, or
No,
finding your feet on that?
starting out in the social sphere, the B2B kind of marketplace for social is, I think, yet unproven. And I think Matt Cutts over at Google had an interesting statement this week saying that Google Plus was not integrated into the algorithm, the Google search algorithm, which was really interesting because I figured it was. I think most people figured it was. But I think obviously Google's got to bring that data into search. It's obviously in personalized search. If I circle VUC, that I'm going to get more VoIP content in my searches. So it's obviously going to be a player in the space. I was just amazed to hear that it's not already part of the algorithm in their search. So I think we're looking to extend our content marketing into Google Plus to make sure we're there, make sure we're everywhere. How about you guys?
Randy?
Well,
You've been quiet a while.
Well,
Like you?
unusual, isn't it? I kind of was under the impression that the Google Plus public content was in the search, but I think sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it isn't. If you've got we've all noticed, I'm sure, if you have personal search enabled, you will see people from your circles and content like that. I think where the important factor is of what you're talking about, though, is in the authorship. So if you've got a blog, whether it's a corporate blog or a personal blog or whatever, when you are the author, or if you have a Google Plus page and you have all of that stuff connected properly.
Oh, I think he's coming in.
He's coming in on his
Properly,
PC
yeah.
now, or Mac or whatever.
Yeah.
Just to finish that thought, anyway, it's all the
Yes.
question. I forgot there's a name of this, but it's authentic. It's the authorship thing. So those connections, I
Yes.
think, will become important in that some of the content will show with your profile info and stuff like that. I've seen results already that say how many people are circling you, which they don't show in an obvious place anymore, as far as I know, on Google Plus. You used to go to somebody's page and it would say how many people were circling them if they enabled that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can see that anywhere anymore, except in apps like the ones that do that kind of thing. But you do see it on Google search results.
Mm. Yeah, well, there's certainly integration, like I mentioned in the trail for this show. I gave a presentation last Friday to a bunch of local businesses. Just 15 minutes, first of two presentations talking about Google Plus. And what I was saying to them was Google are trying to encourage more people to use personalized search so that they get better results. And absolutely, the Google Plus results, plus ones and so on, are integrated into personal search results. So you can see where somebody in your circles has +1 to post, it will push it up the search engine rankings. I think what Russ was saying is Matt Cutts has said that for effectively anonymous searches where you're not using the personalized search, the Google Plus Your World stuff. In that instance, it's still the same algorithm that it was before Google Plus. Well, I say the same algorithm, that's not strictly true. I'm sure they evolve the algorithm all the time, but the algorithm doesn't include Google Plus results in that instance.
I was just kind of looking at some results now. I'm trying to find some neutral topic that would give some results. But I looked up Four Lakes Internet, and the first two links are links to that site. Well, in fact, ikent.co.uk is one of them. I assume that was one of your older or one of your other domain names, right? Are you in Folkestone? Oh, now I'm not. Now I'm getting no audio for some reason.
Sorry, I was muted.
Oh, are you? That is also you, right? The ikent domain name, I assume.
I can't. What? Which?
ikent.co.uk.
iKent is it's a local what do you call it? Directory, online directory. So it's a
okay. So that wasn't clear, but now that you say that, it makes sense. So anyway, when you look up Four Lakes Internet, the first one is your site, fourlakes.co.uk. The second one is this iKent listing, and then if I have personalized search enabled, the next two are G+ content that you posted. This happens to be regarding. Now, interestingly, this does not post. Well, that's because it's Four Lakes. It's not you personally. There's the FL logo, and it doesn't say how many people are following. But I've seen that before. So maybe it's. Do it again with your name and see if I can.
Well, that's embarrassing.
No, I'm just curious because I have seen it, but now I don't on this.
Yeah.
Anyway, looking up your name, Coleman, just as an example, the first listing that comes up is LinkedIn. The second one is the homemade squash and chili and chorizo soup.
That was
great.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, and the next one is about that was yesterday too. I guess your 12-year-old, your daughter's photo. And then the rest are the other stuff that would have come up, Four Lakes and so on.
Yeah.
What's interesting, though, is I've never noticed this before, but as I typed in your name, suddenly the little thing came up in the typing part, just like it does on G+, that filled in your whole name with your avatar and has a whole thing on the right. I don't know if should I do a screen share on that real quick, or does that make sense? Do you know what I'm talking?
No,
you know what I'm talking about? Here, just a quick one here. So what's happening here? See if I want to see if it's visible even. There we go.
Yeah, you're also logged in, right?
I am logged in. Yeah, you have to be logged in for this to work. And of course, if you use Chrome and you don't want it to work, you just use a different incognito window. Okay, I think that's enough of that.
There's a button at the top right to turn it off as well if you don't want to use it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's interesting, actually, I've found in researching my presentation for last week is it doesn't work with Google Apps accounts. Personalized search.
It doesn't work with the apps, the Pro accounts.
So I'm sure that will change in time. But for now, you need to have a Google Mail or a Gmail account for that to work, or a non-apps Google account, shall we say?
Speaking of the Nexus 7, Russ, I think you're the living proof that you absolutely need to use earphones.
Yes,
because you're like bringing in a ton of noise.
Let me. I'm not on the Nexus anymore. I'm on my laptop. Also having issues, but let me try my headset here.
Okay. But you probably don't necessarily have the choice on the Nexus, whereas there.
Is that better?
Much better. Hangouts don't work very well without a headset, unfortunately.
Well, amazingly, whoever built this building gave the marketing guy an office with an air vent right above him too.
That's nice.
So, as I do webinars and broadcasts like these, it's really frustrating because everybody gets to see me in these lovely headsets.
So Randy and I were just talking about personalized results and so on, and I assume you were listening in whilst you were sorting out your stuff. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think Matt Cutt's statement. He's the spokesperson for Google. Was really it was eye-opening for me, obviously, but I think you have to look at Google's long-term play. They've got to be measuring that data. They've got to be looking at it and judging it already. So if you're waiting to get into social, I think the wait is over, especially for B2B folks. And it should be part of your overall content strategy, regardless of what platforms you're using. So, we started doing, I think, just working smarter as we're making content for blogs and for other platforms. We're making sure that we customize that content so it's viewed on Google Plus and that traffic's brought over to our website. And that's what we're all here for. We're here to help educate and to move people into our own space for whatever reason we have. So ours is commercial, obviously. The VUC forum's more educational. And I think you've got to be there, and you've got to figure out how it's gonna affect your search traffic.
Sorry, I'm muted again. Absolutely, I totally agree. What I wanted to ask you as well as a marketing person, though, is do you find the lack of a more open API a frustration, an issue? Would you like it if tools that you used to push content to other social platforms like Facebook or Twitter or whatever, you could use the same tool to push content to Google Plus, or do you think that would dilute the whole Google Plus ecosystem?
That's a good question. I think the tools that we're using are pretty primitive as it is. As Twitter scales back their API and starts to own more of that content natively, I think you're going to have these big silos come in again of content platforms, and you're going to have to figure out how to get your media into that venue regardless. So you've got Facebook with a pretty closed API in terms of letting Google in. You've got Twitter, peeling back how you can view and share tweets, which is probably a detriment to Twitter users. And same with Google. Right now, there are enough tools out there to get into Google. They're, I think, betting more on hardware integration and having their systems out to drive all of Google Plus use and Nexus use and everything else as the onslaught of Android continues. So they're out for a hardware play just like Apple is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting to hear from the marketing viewpoint. Absolutely. I think Randy and I have a very technical view of the world, and sometimes that colours our opinion a bit. I'm aware that time is pressing on. We've overrun by 10 minutes, although we did have some technical issues trying to get in, and Russ, obviously you joined us a little late as well. Would love to have you come back again sometime soon, and maybe continue the conversation if you're up for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great.
Excellent. Okay. I think I'll call a halt to proceedings there. We'll put the video up on YouTube as soon as possible. I'm hoping there were no issues. My PC crashed completely, blue screen of death halfway through that, but I was able to get back in, and it tells me it's still broadcasting. So hopefully it's still on. The video's still been recorded, and we'll get it out on YouTube.
Well, there's going to be a very weird middle part, Coleman, because your video froze.
I might need to edit that.
Yeah, because I was going to go ahead and just keep going, but I could not tell if we were on the air. So then I started looking around, and there's like 5 minutes of that. So if you could cut that out somehow, might just start with Russ's entrance after the car, and that would be good.
Yes, yeah.
You can't actually cut out the middle part, as far as I know. You can only trim.
Yeah.
Well, there's an editor in YouTube, but the trim doesn't cut out the middle. And we did have there was probably 5 minutes of that. Yeah. A little embarrassing.
I'll have a play with it. If needs be, I'll download it and edit and then re-upload, but that could be tonight's task. Okay, guys. Russ, great to meet you in a hangout for the first time. Hope you do come back and share your marketing expertise with us and knowledge of all things cloud and VoIP and so on. Randy, great to see you again.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Randy, good to see you again. And hopefully see you all next week.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Ciao.